Uh, Extremely grateful for the opportunity. Uh, uh, Thank you, HagueTalks. Thank you, Justice and Peace. Uh, uh, it's really with Margaret sitting in front of me and amazing work that Farida have been doing. It's a bit difficult task right now to talk to you. Uh, but just that you are stuck with me for at least 10 minutes. We will try to talk about politics of current cyberspace. Now that I have control of the stage, Deborah and Ingrid, it's not going to be a lot about I. Uh, Maybe it will be more about we in that whole journey. So I was incredibly lucky to be able to work with the team in Pakistan who pioneered internet and email in the country. It all started in 1992 when Earth Summit happened, and after that, there was this drive to develop communication infrastructure, communication for sustainable development. There was a UN project, it's called Sustainable Development Networking Program, and that's how technology and internet started happening in Pakistan. Earlier, it was offline emails. Uh, what I'm talking about, most of you in the room probably would not even understand. A confession also to make that I am a digital immigrant. I'm from that old age when everything was analog and there was nothing digital at that time. But most of you in the room I see are all seemingly digital natives. You're all young people. You probably would have seen technology when you started taking control of your lives, and then you knew that there is internet, there is phone, there is apps, but no, it wasn't like that. From that perspective, as a digital immigrant, I can tell you how incredible journey it has been for some of the countries and some of the individuals. So I was mainly working with that amazing team who had started this work in Pakistan already, and then we were more concerned about bringing Pakistani content online. And then another issue that came up was that there is hardly any content in Urdu language, so we need to do that too. So I mean, these were the kind of issues at that time that we were looking at. Cyberspace was all green pastures. It was beautiful. There's no issues, no challenges. It was all about money. That if we are an IT expert, we are billionaires. If we are, tech savvy, we will do amazing. This was the time I'm talking about, late 90s, when we thought that technology will clean our toilets. Technology will make us bread. Technology will, like, think of anything, and that technology will do that. Yeah. And then there was a lot of focus at that time as well for the donors. Donors were fatigued, putting in money here and there, and then they were really like, everything is going to change. It was probably 2000, early 2000, when UN thought, and I'm talking about the then Secretary General, he thought that, no, we need to look at in some details that how this new emerging information society would look like. And then came World Summit on Information Society that was held in two phases, in 2003 and 2005. Anyone of you know about it? See, I told you. So I would say, an amazing, important milestone in how now we see that cyberspace developed and emerged. So in 2003, we met in Geneva, and I was very lucky to be the only civil society participant from Pakistan. At least, I had some honor that I was the only civil society participant. And then again in 2005 in Tunis. We talked about, like when I say we, it's a huge gathering of people, experts, all from all different stakeholders. There were human rights activists, there were academics, there were governments. Prime ministers participated in the first phase of this summit. Pakistan was also represented by the then prime minister. So it was that important at that time. You know, we really wanted to have an inclusive, participatory, very useful information society. And then suddenly we see that things started to change. Taking a big leap forward, it was 2006 or probably 2000, it was 2006. I'm now going to talk about more from my own work perspective, that my work is more grounded in Pakistan or in immediate Asia region. So I may not be able to comment on the larger politics of the cyberspace, but that's what I have done. So I mean, I'll talk about that only. We started looking at internet and then technology when it has already emerged. We have started using. I mean, okay, we had very slow bandwidth, 14 kbps routers. Probably most of you would not have even seen even the pictures of it, but we have used it. There used to be, I mean, if you probably have some museum piece, this big discs, then they made it like this small, and then this hard disk. I mean, all those are amazing historical pieces that we can think of. Internet was happening, and we suddenly saw that there's some sort of censorship and blocking is happening. At that time, that was not even imaginable, but by any stretch of imagination, that internet would be filtered, or our cyberspace will be blocked for certain content. So we came to know that, okay, a government is blocking certain content because it is blasphemous. So it's a blasphemous content that they are going to block. And it was the caricatures that were published somewhere in Europe, probably Denmark. And then we were very curious. We wanted to know. We wanted to understand what are the dynamics, why it is all happening. And I was working with some of the academics in Canada and in the US. And we did a research report, quite evidence-based. And we came to know that the content filtering and the blocking that has just started, it's not because of blasphemous content. It is blocking political discourse. It is the reason of these blocks are actually political content. And that was quite telling. And I remember that when, for the first time, I took my research to a very important person in Pakistan's IT scene, and he said, "Hey, you are doing this research. This is anti-national. This is anti-state." And it was very shocking. If you're talking about government and state authorities filtering and censorship, it could be termed as anti-state or anti-national. We didn't know that. That was not happening earlier, because I told you, cyberspace, IT, technology, it was all green pastures, development, money, a lot of wealth. No, sir, it wasn't like that anymore. Okay. Then we gradually saw that how, and right now I'm talking about Pakistan, that how blasphemy laws are being used to govern the internet in Pakistan. And then we also gathered the evidence that how censorship is being used as a tool of governance. Do you understand what I mean? Cut this content, block this, censor this, everything's good, everything is all right. Censorship as a governance tool, increasingly. And then this was, I would say, a liberal, progressive, democratic government. And then they thought that this is what is going to work. It was 2010 when we saw Facebook blocked for about 2 months. And then suddenly, there was a lot of hue and cry. Then Facebook agreed to certain, that they would listen to the government on what content they would want to block. So, Facebook opened up. Very funny thing happened in 2011. Not many of you would know. Suddenly, the Telecommunication Authority in Pakistan realized that people are sending very indecent, very objectionable, obscene kind of messages, and they need to block it. And they came up with a list of 1,694 words, what they thought should not be allowed on SMS. Have you heard of this story? Okay, Google for it and you will find it. It's a fascinating story, and it tells a lot about the cyberspace and which direction and what the politics of it. This list included usual words. I'm sure there are quite a few feminists in the room, and then they would not like that if I explain it all. Usual word about women. Jesus Christ was also blocked. Nude. So, you can't write nude in your SMS, You can't say drunk. You can't say, several different, the way it is expressed. So, everybody write different things in different, because and they also went to the extent, because many of us write Urdu in Roman, If we say things in Urdu, but we write it in Urdu, in English words. So, for example, if I want to say shukriya, I wouldn't write it in the script. I would write SHUKRIA, which is thank you, So, this is how it is. So, they went to the extent and they thought of all possible words that people can send, and they said, no, we are going to block this. And we had a field day at that time, all of us, who are working in this area of work, like 30 interviews a day, and maybe like 16 TV appearances, and and it was crazy, why a government authority would even think of doing this. They would want to bring a censorship spree, which is that stupid, But while we were getting there, others were also catching up, and then now I will tell you the other story as well. That how other countries, and we thought that it's only blasphemy law in Pakistan which is being exercised. We didn't know that in the neighboring country, which is known to be a very established democracy, there is also similar problems. In Thailand, lèse majesté law, that's also blasphemy law to some extent. And in Malaysia, in Indonesia also, there were things being blocked severally than in other regions as well. Then balkanization of cyberspace started happening. I have more right, I have more control, I would do that. And then 2012, there was this small video which is known to be blasphemous. I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to see it because I've been told that it's a very stupid work of art as well. But someone made this up, uploaded it, and it's about 4 years now that YouTube is blocked in Pakistan. And then when it happened, we were already sick and tired of issuing public statements that, we condemn government, this is vehemently denounced, this is that, this is enough. This was nothing was happening. And that was the time we thought that we should do something really about it. Because our change theory is do research, build some evidence, take it to some policy advocacy campaigning, and then on the sidelines also work with stakeholders, with human rights defenders, with academia, and then bring them along so that we can have our voice collectively and we can change things. So that's our overall change theory. Nothing worked. So finally, we challenged it in the court, the ban. It took 22 hearings in Pakistan's Lahore High Court, 22 hearings, and we are very lucky to get all these hearings, by the way. 22 hearings, being called agent of West. Yes, Jews agent as well, CIA also. And then my team keep asking me, where are those checks that CIA has been sending you? And I have no clue. And then blasphemer. But we got a favorable decision last year in our favor. The court gave a verdict which is favorable to us. But now the problem is that the block happened at the Supreme Court level, and we need to go to the Supreme Court, which issued a small, I will take 1 more minute, a one-liner saying YouTube should be blocked. So it's not even YOUTUB, that's very long, you know. So I mean, they wrote YouTube should be blocked. And then that is how it happened. What I want to say now is that if you look at this country, if you look at larger Asia region, you would see all these controls over there. What we need to do is we need to strengthen our movement for digital rights and freedom of expression for civil liberties. That is one area that we really focus a lot. Digital rights and then these controls and then these issues, I mean, mainly from the government and our authorities, are very problematic for minorities, for example. I say minorities include religious minorities, sexual minorities, and then all different aspects of our society. Cyberspace, because there is a lot of convergence happening of our physical lives in the online and the cyberspace, we see that how it is affecting and impacting gender relations, for example, you know, tech-driven gender-based violence. So I mean, we need to look at that. Then, Margaret, you are here, and you lead this movement. I mean, for us, the major concern is that the digital rights movement and the larger human rights, mainstream human rights movement, I mean, they need to merge. Because all different rights that we talk about are now converging in online spaces. If online spaces are compromised, offline is also compromised. If offline is compromised, it is impacting online as well. So all is not still lost. All of us have a lot of ample opportunities to work together. And we need to. And we need to come together. And all of you digital natives, and I'm really talking to you. We probably, as digital immigrants, have done a terrible job, but all of you need to rise up, need to take control. All of you need to take control of this technology and make it in the best interest and in the best use of us, the people. It's not for the corporations. It's not for the authorities. It's not for the governments. It's not for those terrorists out there who are using it and who are creating havoc over here. It's for us. It's me and you, all of us. So I think it's time's up. Thank you very much. I'm very good.
Hello.
Very good. Thank you.